Hey, hello! Let's talk about this. This is an Aruco paper head tracking marker. Now this should allow me to look around the car when I'm doing sim racing, which I do occasionally. But how does it work? Does it work? Should you do it? Is it worth it? I will find that out in this video. This is a review of this whole contraption. Now it might look stupid, but it actually works. If I open up OpenTrack, which is this free software I just download, you can see on the little octopus that it's actually tracking me, because if I go like that, then it disappears, then it doesn't know where I am, but again, I'm back. Let me just center this one real quick. I go back and forth and to the side. Now this works kind of flawlessly in here, but we'll discuss some problems later. For this, real quick, all you need to do is basically just get in here, make sure you have your frames at the right one. This is not my right one, but I'll talk about that later. Make sure you have free track, of course you also have to have Aruco up here. Then pick whatever filter you like. This is the default one, so that's just the one I went with. And then in here, make sure you bind some keys. I've gone for center, start, stop, and restart. Center I think at least you should have, because whenever you if you get out and it's off center or something, just center it real quick. Now, it's really easy. You print this thing out, you put it on some cardboard or something, which I have here, and then I've just mounted it to a headlamp or something. I don't know what it's called. With duct tape, so really DIY contraption, but it works. It does the trick. It's not too uncomfortable really, so it's nice. You do know you have it on your head, but it's kind of okay. And there's actually no setup for a game like Assetto Corsa. Just go in and it works. So here I have set up a little practice, so we can go look at what this actually does. How does it work? How good does it work? Surprisingly good actually, but also surprisingly bad. Yeah. Kind of a double-edged sword. Now let's real quick get on some super soft tires, because why not? Get in the car, look straight ahead, and press center, because as you can see we were way off. Now it actually does work. If I'm looking around like this, you can see I am looking around. It's kind of nice. You can use your mirrors if you're too up close. I normally couldn't see my whole steering wheel or my mirrors, and that's nice. And yeah, of course the rear view mirror if you aren't just using the virtual one, but I'm not. Oh no, I like this one. And I guess you could look over there, but it kind of takes some, because now this isn't VR, but it's kind of emulating. It's like the poor man's VR, I want to say. It's not really. I mean, there are reasons to choose this over VR, to be fair, but I would choose VR. Now, but what I'm saying is, if I look over here to look at that wing mirror, I have to tilt my head to, look over there, but my screen is still in front of me. The screen hasn't changed with me like it would do in VR. So as you can see my head, I'm trying to look with my eyes very much to the side to actually see the wing mirror, because else I'll just be looking into the wall. So that's no help. And as you can also see, it's not that responsive. It's kind of nice a lot of the times, but then you have sort of, you see that, yeah, exactly like that, where it just sort of jumps around, and it's really annoying when you're racing that sometimes, oh, you're just at the corner, oh, you're back and such. Really not what you want. Now some of this juddering around can be excused because my camera isn't the best. If you have a camera that's better, the low light performance is going to be better, and then you're going to have a better result. I did get a better result earlier today when it was sunny outside and I got more light on it, though I do have a lamp up there sort of shining light around this area to make it work, because it was even worse just a minute ago. But I mean, you really do have to have a really good camera or ideal lighting setting to get this to work smooth. But to be fair, for most people this would be a free head tracking option, and for people like me who didn't have a webcam, it's, I don't know, what does a webcam cost, like $20 euros, I don't know, I bought in crowns. This one set me back about 300 crowns. Yeah, you should probably get one that does 60 FPS. Mine only does 30, it does 60, but there's something wrong with it, the software doesn't work, so I can't switch that on. But if I did switch on 60 FPS, the quality would go down, and then it's probably just going to be even more jumping around, so it's hard to tell. But it does work. It does work. It does censor me at some point. Might take a second sometimes, but it does work. If you try driving, you can see what this is actually supposed to do. The idea here is you look at the corner when you come to it like this, sort of look over, and then you can line up the car better, which is really nice, and the idea is good. But as I said before, the screen isn't moving, so you sort of have to adjust your eyes as well when you're looking at the corner, and it's yeah, it doesn't work perfectly, and with the juddering, it's not perfect. Though, as you can see now, it's not all terrible, and I'm sure this could be a lot better if I just like used a better camera and had better lighting conditions or something like that. But I mean, you can't have perfect light outside all day, and you know, it's a cheap man's option. Though I will say, for free, this, I mean, why not try it? It's sort of fun. But if I'm honest, I think I would rather just switch on the neck option and then have the character look to the corner for me. Yeah, you don't get as much flexibility, and I mean, if you were in a car-to-car battle and there were somebody on the side, you could look over or like use your wing mirrors. But I mean, I can use this one, but I cannot look over to that one without crashing. As you can see, I don't know where the fuck I'm driving at the moment, so that's sort of bad. And also, if you wanna like look down at what gear I'm in and I'm not just doing some weird eye thing, then I would have to like go like this, and now I'm not seeing that much road because I'm more focused on the wheel, and it's just kind of distracting, really. I mean, I've only played with it for a couple of days. I haven't gotten used to it that much, so of course I could get way better with it, and it would probably get a lot more comfortable if I played with it for a bit longer. But I don't know, I'm not happy. But I'm not only gonna do it in Assetto Corsa, I'm also gonna switch over and do it in F1. The reason I'm starting over here is because I actually think Assetto Corsa is the one doing it better. It actually works decently over here. I had some real trouble in F1 2020, but you'll see that later. Now, I of course also could like tilt my head to the side. I don't know why you would do this, but I mean, you have the freedom to. It's really neat that you can just print out this paper thing and stick it on a cardboard plate, and then yeah, you're off to the races. I mean, for me it wasn't totally free. I had to buy the camera, but it's really cheap still compared to buying like a Topi eye tracker or something like that. That'll set you back a few $100s. I'm trying to convert this all in dollars, but I don't know what the fuck it is. Anyway, but I mean, it's definitely passable in Assetto Corsa, and I think if you had better equipment and better lighting, then you could probably use it without too much hassle. You do have to have this thing on your head, and it sort of gets in the way sometimes when you forget it. And also, I mean, you can have different options. I've seen some guys 3D print stuff and like attach it to the headset, which would work a lot better, I think, because this contraption with having it strapped around my head, it sort of, I don't know, it sort of gets annoying after a bit. So I don't know. It's not for endurance racing, and I wouldn't even say I would have it on for like a 25% race or something. It nags at me. But then again, that is a totally subjective thing, and your mileage may vary. You're not gonna have the same contraption as me. I'm just saying. Now I think you've seen what we can do in Assetto Corsa. I mean, it's nice looking at the corner. By the way, if I manage to convince you shouldn't do this, stick around to the end and I'll show you what you can do in Assetto Corsa instead if you don't know. But let's jump over to F1 2020. So we're back in Austria, now sitting in the Red Bull garage, and as you can see, you know, sort of nice look around. But over here, if I look down, then I sort of move forward, and you see I haven't turned my head, but look at this, it's moving all over the place. It's not as stable over here. And quick little side note, if you're using it in the F1 games, then you have to go down to camera customization and turn on this one. So a little bit of work, but nothing to complain about. As you can see, it still works perfectly fine. I move around. In here it's actually kind of smooth. It's sort of fun to see all the screens over there and the light out. It looks neat, to be fair. It really does, but it is sort of jumping around, and I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Let's go out to the track. Okay, so we're at about the same spot as we were parked before. Looking around, it's decent. Now, I'm not experiencing the problem that I did earlier, because I had some real problems with it just straight up freezing for a second or two and not moving, and it was just so unbearable to play with. Now it looks sort of better, and of course it is awesome to do this. I mean, don't get me wrong, head tracking is awesome. If you can't do VR, then this is fun, really is. But I'm just saying, maybe not this solution. Anyway, so as we're coming around here, you can see I'm looking over to the side to see that. But also, I'm having some real trouble because that whole, the screen not moving with you and you sort of have to look to the side, that really puts you off. And also, I often look too much to the side in here. I mean, you could probably turn down the sensitivity somewhere, but if you wanted to actually move at a consistent pace, like in Assetto Corsa, there you can see some of those jumps I was talking about. If I look over to the side of my screen, which is about like 40 centimeters away from the middle, it's a 27 inch, then I'm looking like that. And this is not where I want to be looking for the apex, because I'm looking over at the right side of the screen, but the apex is in the middle of the screen. So I'm actually right now looking at the grass and the Rolex logos. That's sort of disorientating when you're driving. Apart from the jumping around, I think that's the most annoying thing about using this one, because I always overlook the apex when I'm doing it like this, and if you just turned on the look to apex and, as I did, max it out, then you sort of get a perfect look every time. It sort of turns, you know where the apex is, it isn't affected by your head, so you can look where you wanna without it turning. It's and again, if I wanted to see something on my steering wheel, then I'm totally focused on my steering wheel. And again, it's just not that consistent. If I wanted to look at my mirror to see if somebody was coming up on the side of me, you see, I have to go all the way out here. I have no idea where the corner is coming now. And it's not like it's an easy movement, because you have to sort of reorientate yourself when you get back here. And I mean, this might just not be for me, but I've definitely been let down by this. I'm not saying it's a bad deal, because it's free. So definitely try it out for yourself. Make your own opinion about it. You might love it. I've seen people love it. But I just want you to know, it's not perfect. It's not as fluent as I guess you would expect. I'm not saying expect like it should be better, it's free. I mean, of course, I'm just happy to have the option. But in order for it to be playable, it needs to jump around less. And also, I don't know what you should do about it, but this overlooking the corners thing, it's just so disorientating. Whenever I'm going around, I'm looking at the grass right now. I don't know where the fuck that one is. Anyway, I think I'm done rambling now. So, should you use Aruco paper hit tracking marker stuff? That one. Yes! I think you should try it. It's not that much work. This one is really cheap and easy to make. It's just a piece of cardboard, as you can see, and in here it works perfectly, but as you can see there, it jumps out, and there it didn't know exactly where I was, and if I move too fast, then it sort of stops tracking for a bit, and that is so noticeable when you play. If you've ever had on a VR headset, you know that just the slightest FPS drops is terrible, because it's your whole world, it's what you see, and you sort of start feeling sick. It's not as bad here, because of course I still have the surroundings around me, but I'm focused on the screen. It takes up most of my view. To be fair, I have my screen on arm, so it's kind of close to my face, but it does take up most of my view, and it just really annoys me whenever it lags or jumps or hops too much to the side, or I have to sit like that to actually see the mirror. So, final verdict, try it. It's easy, it's sort of fun, but know what you're getting into. It's a free option, and you feel it. And remember, your mileage may vary. If you have a great webcam, or if you have good lighting conditions or something like that, then it's probably gonna work a hell of a lot better than it did for me. But I'm just letting you know, as I wanna say an average consumer with an average camera in average lighting conditions, that this is the result I've gotten. Now, before I leave, let me real quick show you what you could do instead. In F1 2020, it's really easy. You just go in here, you go down to camera customization, you go down to look to apex, you turn it on. Easy as that. In Assetto Corsa, it's a little bit harder. When you're in Content Manager, and yes, I'm assuming you have Content Manager, because if you play Assetto Corsa and you don't have Content Manager, what are you doing with your life? Get Content Manager. It's amazing. So you're in Content Manager, you go over and you press Settings, and then you press this one, the Custom Shaders Patch. Now, if you haven't done this before, then it wants you to real quick install it, so just press yes and do that. It takes like 5 seconds. When you're in here, you go down and you press the neg FX, and then just simply activate head. Now it looks to apex, and you have an ocean of options to change out just how much you want. I haven't touched this. except velocity. If it's red, you can see I've touched it. So all of this I haven't touched. This works perfectly for me. It looks to the corner, I know where I'm going, it's not disorientating. Yes, of course, it's not looking the perfect amount every time. It's not seeing if there's somebody on the side. It's not looking at my wing mirror. But to be honest, I prefer this. This is just so much smoother and you can rely on it. And you know what? Mostly it's the not knowing about the head tracker, because you don't know if it's gonna jump, so you're just sitting there waiting, afraid. Is it gonna do it? Is it gonna jump around? Holy fuck, what is this? Can I press center? Is it? I think it was trying to track me, but I put it over to the side. Anyway, so let's try racing here. You see, I get to this corner now and it looks to it. It works perfectly, it does what I need, I can race with it, it's just great. You now know what I think of this. Try it. I don't like it, but try it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found this useful. It's a fun little gimmick, if nothing else. I hope you want to subscribe, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye.